Everyone's obsessed with sets and reps for muscle growth. But here's the secret. That's not the question you should be asking. The real game changer? Understanding the power of training to fatigue and how it can revolutionize your results. Ready to dive into the science that will transform your workouts forever? Let's uncover what really drives muscle hypertrophy and how you can best harness it to build your best physique yet. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Active Wave, your go-to source for cutting-edge fitness insights. If you're excited about fitness and fitness technology, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to stay up to date with all of our latest content. Muscle growth, or hypertrophy, is a goal that drives countless hours in the gym. Yet the path to achieving it is often clouded by confusion and conflicting advice. While many focus on the classic question of how many sets and reps should I do, research suggests that this might not be the most important factor to consider. Instead, the intensity and effort you bring to each workout play a far more crucial role. In this guide, we'll break down the science behind hypertrophy. We'll explore why training to fatigue can be a game changer and how to structure your workouts for maximum muscle growth. By the end, you'll have a clear, actionable plan to take your training to the next level. So let's dive into what really matters when it comes to building muscle and transforming your physique. If you want to build muscle, understanding hypertrophy is key. We have a detailed video explaining how the body adds muscle, covering the processes of myofibril and sarcoplasmic hypertrophy and why they're crucial for muscle growth. So make sure to check out that video for an in-depth explanation of all of that. Now, let's focus on the variables that influence hypertrophy: volume, load, and training intensity. These factors determine how effectively you can stimulate muscle growth and achieve your fitness goals. In the next sections, we'll break down the latest research and provide practical guidelines to help you maximize your training results. Understanding the key variables that influence hypertrophy is essential for optimizing your training. These variables include training volume, load, and intensity. Training volume is the total amount of work you do in a workout, and it's a significant driver of hypertrophy. Volume is calculated by multiplying the number of sets and reps and the weight that you've lifted. Research shows that performing at least 10 sets per muscle group per week is optimal for hypertrophy. Higher volume training increases the muscle's time under tension, which is one of the things that is crucial for muscle growth. Load refers to the amount of weight lifted, while intensity pertains to how close you train to your maximum capacity. Studies indicate that hypertrophy can be achieved across a wide range of loads from light to heavy, as long as the effort is high and the total volume is sufficient. This means that you can build muscle effectively using both heavy weights with fewer reps and lighter weights with more reps, provided you push your muscles sufficiently. One of the ongoing debates in strength training is whether you need to train to failure, the point where you can't complete another rep with good form, to maximize hypertrophy. Research suggests that while training to failure is beneficial, it's not the only path to muscle growth. Training to failure involves pushing your muscles to the point where you can't complete another rep with good form. This method can create significant muscle damage and metabolic stress, which are essential triggers for hypertrophy. But research suggests that while training to failure can be effective, especially for experienced lifters, it also comes with increased fatigue and the need for longer recovery periods. Training with reps in reserve means stopping a few sets before failure. This method helps in maintaining higher quality reps and reducing overall fatigue, allowing for more consistent progress. Studies indicate that using reps in reserve while increasing the number of sets can yield hypertrophy results comparable to training to failure. So what does all of this mean for you and your training? First, to maximize hypertrophy, we need to periodize your volume. Gradually increase your training volume over time and include phases of higher volume and lower volume to optimize growth and recovery. Use a variety of loads and rep ranges to stimulate different muscle fibers and keep your workouts challenging. Incorporate both high effort sets and sets with some reps in reserve to maintain performance and prevent burnout. By understanding and applying these variables in your training, you can create a balanced and effective hypertrophy program that leads to continuous muscle growth and improved overall performance. Here are some practical guidelines for hypertrophy training. Achieving muscle hypertrophy requires a strategic approach that balances intensity, volume, and recovery. Periodization is a systematic approach to planning your training that involves varying the volume and intensity over specific periods to maximize muscle growth and recovery. This might involve starting with 10 sets per muscle group per week, increasing to 15 sets per week, and then culminating with a period of 20 sets before reducing the volume to allow for recovery. Start with moderate volume and intensity to build a solid foundation, then gradually increase the volume and intensity to push your muscles beyond their current capacity. Finally, temporarily increase volume to a high level to maximize growth stimulus, but this should be done for a short period to avoid overtraining. Then we have a deloading phase, which reduces the volume and intensity to allow muscles to recover and adapt. Then we get to exercise selection. Choosing the right exercises is crucial for maximizing mechanical tension and metabolic stress, the other two important factors in hypertrophy. We should primarily be focused on compound movements like squats, deadlifts, bench press that engage multiple muscle groups and allow you to lift heavier weights. These exercises should form the core of your training program because, one, they engage multiple muscle groups. That means they recruit more muscle fibers, leading to greater overall muscle activation. They also allow you to lift heavier loads, which increases the mechanical tension on your muscles. In addition to the compound movements that make up the majority of our exercise, we can incorporate isolation movements to target specific muscles. This is another reason why there is no magic sets and rep schemes for hypertrophy. The exercises that you choose and your own strength in those exercises play a huge role in the key variables that we discussed earlier. Different exercises affect the muscles differently, and your ability to handle heavier loads or more volume will depend on the movement. This variability means that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to sets and reps. Let's move on to frequency and recovery. Training frequency and recovery are critical components of a hypertrophy-focused program. Research suggests that training each muscle group 2 to 3 times per week can be most effective for promoting muscle group while allowing adequate recovery time. Twice a week allows for a balanced approach, providing sufficient stimulus for growth while ensuring recovery. 3 times a week can benefit more advanced lifters from the higher frequency, provided that you still manage volume and recover effectively. That means aiming for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night, ensuring you're getting adequate protein take, around 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight is really a minimum, and consume a balanced diet rich in essential nutrients to support muscle repair and growth. Incorporating rest days into your training to allow muscles to recover, and active recovery such as light cardio or mobility work can also be beneficial. Building muscle effectively involves more than just counting sets and reps. By understanding and implementing the key principles of hypertrophy, you can optimize your training and achieve better results. Here's a recap of the essential points that we covered. Training volume: aim for at least 10 sets per muscle group per week to maximize hypertrophy. Adjust volume based on your individual response and recovery capacity. Muscle growth can occur across a range of loads, from light to heavy weights, as long as the effort is high and the total volume is sufficient. Mixing up the load and intensity can help target different muscle fibers and keep your workouts challenging. While training to failure is beneficial, it's not the only way to stimulate muscle group. Using reps in reserve can reduce fatigue and improve recovery, allowing for more consistent training sessions. Structure your training with phases of increasing volume and intensity, followed by periods of lower volume for recovery. This approach helps prevent overtraining and promotes continuous progress. Focus on compound movements to engage multiple muscle groups and lift heavier weights, and then incorporate isolation exercises to target specific muscles. Train each muscle group 2 to 3 times per week to keep the stimulus high and promote growth. Ensure adequate recovery with proper sleep, nutrition, and rest days. By following these guidelines and staying consistent, you can create a well-rounded and effective hypertrophy training program that leads to continuous muscle group and improved overall performance. If you guys have any questions or want to share your own experiences, drop them in the comments below. We love hearing from you guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.